Times viewers, Judy Shields here. Today we have a couple of really cool guys joining us. One is a neo-rockabilly artist named Robby Vee, and the other is a rock and roll photographer and the Hollywood Times own journalist, Jimmy Steinfeldt. Hey there, Robby and Jimmy.
Oh, hi, Judy.
How goes it?
It's rocking. Johnny
It's,
Cash
Indeed.
style rock.
yeah, look at that shirt. Wow. Johnny
Original rock.
Cash. Hmm.
It's a
Now
gift.
I would assume everyone knows that name. It's a pretty amazing name, and what a gentleman. And I was blessed to have met him a few times in my lifetime. So I used to belong to the Academy of Country Music Awards. They had them back in the day in the late 70s, early 80s. They had the award show at Knott's Berry Farm at the Good Time Theater, it was called. And back then, us who were members could hang out with them. So I sat and had dinner with June and Johnny, and that was just amazing, in my early 20s. And so let me tell you. But today we're here to talk about their song. They have a single called Johnny Rode Shotgun. Now, I cannot say I had that pleasure, but this is all about Jimmy. I have to say here, our senior editor, Valerie Milano, sent something to Jimmy that said, meeting Johnny Cash is the kind of experience most people only dream about, and you've turned it into a fun song and video. Let's talk about that.
Well, okay. Decades ago, I was asked to photograph Johnny Cash, and the whole story is on page 55 of my book,
Yes.
my book, Rock and Roll Lens,
Yes.
and I tell the whole backstory. But briefly, that day that I was invited to photograph Johnny Cash all these years ago, the whole entourage showed up at the hotel. And a friend of mine who put it together said, well, you go with him and you go in his car and Johnny, you go with Jimmy. I couldn't believe this. I had never met Johnny Cash before, and now he's riding shotgun in my car. Now, all these decades later, it took all the time to percolate in my mind. It became time to write a poem, if you will, or write a song about this unique experience. By the way, I would go on to photograph Johnny Cash several other times after that. But the song that I wrote with Robby, we both wrote words and music. Oh, thank you.
My personal copy.
Yeah.
Autographed to me and everything.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
So I started with a kernel of a song, but I couldn't complete this song on my own. So we talked, and Robby said, yeah, Johnny Cash, for sure. Let's work on it. Let's get it done. And Robby, maybe take it from there.
What interests me about it was, one, it was Jimmy Steinfeld, and I just loved the idea. I loved what he had showed me, and I love the multimedia aspect. We kind of fell into this, song from the book, and then we did this animation with Eric York and
Evan York,
Eric,
yeah.
And then the mastering guy.
Well, the wonderful guy who mastered the
team.
song is Eric Bollinger of the Bakery Mastering Lab,
Wow.
very famed mastering guy and company. So continue.
Yeah, so it became a multimedia piece, which I just thought was very exciting. And the challenge was, I come from the rockabilly world, and I didn't want to do a traditional tribute or a copy of Johnny Cash. I didn't even really want a rockabilly song. I grew up in the rock and roll world, so I understand the roots of rock and roll and all that stuff from a different perspective, I guess. I worked with a lot of those artists. And so for me, it was how do you make something that's just kind of fun and vibey? And that's what we did.
Indeed. And this is interesting, Judy. After we finished the song, took us a little while because Robby lives in Minnesota.
I do.
And I live in California, although I grew up here in Minnesota and come back. we had to, complete the song from long distance, which is a very popular thing in
Yes.
recent years. But we finished the song, I got it mastered. We were very happy with it. And Robby says, "Hey, let's do a music video." And I thought, oh my gosh, a music video, it's such a project. It's exciting, but he's here, I'm there. How are we going to do this? And Robby said, well, give it some thought. So I thought about it and I thought about it when I was in California. How are we going to? And then I remembered my good friend from Laurel Canyon, Evan
Wow.
York, outstanding animator. And I called him and I told him what we were thinking. And he said, yeah, I can work on that. And he made an amazing video. He actually did like he animated to the chorus, which is like a 30 or 50-second cut. And this genius over here, Robby, was able, with his other skills in computers, he was able to stretch that artwork and throughout the whole song. And we now have a fantastic, I think, full-length music video animated due to the beautiful art and ability of Evan York and Robby Vee.
I have to say that the video is just, I wasn't expecting that, like I saw, when you sent it to me, it was that. And I'm like, okay, that's just like the cover animated. And then when it took off, I was like, no way. I mean, that is so cool. That guy's a genius. It's awesome,
Look at it. It's a hand-drawn short. So he does all that the old school
Yes.
way.
Oh,
That's
wow.
may I comment further on that?
Yeah, please do. I mean, that is fascinating.
So Evan York is an outstanding animator, has done all kinds of important projects.
Wow.
But he does it old school. He does, let's call them cells or hand-drawn art. For everything you see in there is a hand-drawn original piece of art.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, at some point, I guess he has to scan it and put it in a computer and make it move, make it a moving picture. But every single frame, so it's a very laborious and artistic endeavor that he does. And that's why he was able really just to do a 30, 40, or 50-second section, because that took him a long time. And again, this guy figured out how to stretch it out and repeat some cells and so on and add stuff. Robby added all things that were very Minnesota and St. Paul oriented.
If I could show it. See, look, it's on my phone, but that's what it looks like, folks, just like the beginning of it. I mean, look at, there's Jimmy, there's Johnny, and unfortunately we don't see Robby's head on that particular one, but
Oh, my guitar, that's all that matters.
the guitar, yeah.
So-
but I mean, it's just awesome. This thing's gonna go viral.
Yes, like that.
Exactly. So
The aspect of the drawing of it, I like, in a world where people are talking AI and they're kind of in this different space. I just love, I'm a kind of a purist in rock and roll. I love the old nuts and bolts of the genre. Jimmy has a history of great photography. I love just all the talent that's in this mix, that it's all traditionalists doing traditional things.
yeah.
And multimedia tribute, I think.
Yeah, it's just so. But Jimmy, like, what gave you the idea? You said you were trying to think about a video. What gave you the idea to even do the animation? Did it come in your dreams? I mean, how did that happen?
I wish I could tell you exactly how it came about, but it definitely had to do with knowing, well, I'm not going to fly back to Minnesota and put together and we'd get a cast of
Reenact.
characters.
Yeah, right.
There was a workaround.
Yeah, that's a good way. It was a workaround. And so somehow I thought, Robby said, let's do a video. So he planted that seed in my mind. And I thought, how can we do it? And then I remembered my friend, Evan York. And I thought, this could be very interesting because I've done music videos. I've been in music videos before, but they've all been not animated. And I thought, if this works out, so of course I called Robby. I said, I've got an idea. how does an animated video?
Oh my
This,
God.
this friend of mine, Robby said, yeah, let's check it out. And so, yeah, partly as a workaround and partly because it just popped into my mind. This is a possible way to do it. And Evan was so terrific in accepting the challenge and coming up with some amazing artwork.
Yeah, once he started sending us some of the proofs and
Oh.
some of the characters that he had created,
Yeah.
it just became so interesting. It's like this is incredible. This guy's so talented. So
And a lot of the younger generation, I'm in my 60s, so I can say that, they have been introduced to Johnny Cash. And my kids they're 40 and 30s, love him. So now add animation to this video, it's really gonna catch the younger kids, and that's why I say it's gonna go viral.
and in Jimmy's book, I'm a huge rockabilly fan. I grew up, just that was my thing growing up. But
Yeah.
when I'm a kid that would hear stuff on the radio, then I'd go back and try and figure out, where they got their chops from.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite story in his book. I kind of came back to it, and I'd look at the pictures, and I'd imagine this great opportunity that he had to,
Right?
take this little trip down, down to through St.
Civil-
Paul,
yeah,
down to the Civil War
Fort.
Fort. Yeah. And lyrically, it's a great story, and it really, as a body of work, art, it just was. This is a neat project, and it was a way for me to kind of pay tribute to one of my heroes. So there's a lot of really intriguing pieces that kind of pulled me in to want to do this.
Now, Jimmy, meeting Johnny, and then you meeting him, but he's a tall guy and you're tall. Let's hear about what car did you have? Because that's in your little story there, like the car and what Johnny said.
It's true. So the car was, I had just bought, like 10 days before
Wow.
the experience, a new Mazda RX-7.
That's
So
what it was. Red? Was it red?
Actually, it was silver.
Silver. Okay.
And now in the video, you don't see a Mazda RX-7. You don't really see much. It's a little inside for the viewers.
Yeah.
But anywho, the interesting part of the story in my book, we don't really talk about this part in the song, but it was very interesting. So when my buddy who put the whole thing together said, you go with him, you go with Johnny, you go with Jimmy, I almost fainted. And okay, Johnny gets in my brand new, he was the first passenger. My family hadn't even been in the car. No friend. It was the very first passenger.
I'm surprised he fit in the car.
Well,
Did
you have to lay down to kind of crawl in?
Yeah. So he gets in, big Johnny Cash, who's taller than me, let me tell you. He gets in my car and he says, first words out of his mouth, man, this is smaller than June's Ferrari. And she did have one. And although I think he did say, but a Ferrari, you're almost lying flat, in a car. But a Ferrari is lower. But it's true. He barely fit, this big man, in my wonderful new sports car. And that was his words. This is smaller than June's Ferrari.
Oh, I had to have you.
We drove together to the Civil War Fort. It's called Fort Snelling here in Minnesota, because that was the location. And we checked in at the front gates of the Civil War Fort with the guys from the department that run that famous, it's like a museum now. And we did a photo shoot there. And it was a very memorable experience. And as I said earlier, it took decades for that experience to percolate in my mind to say, you know what? There's a song here somewhere there's a song with this Johnny rode shotgun in my car.
So tell our viewers, how did that song come about as far as the word? You said, you started it, and then Robby, how you guys came together to finish it.
Well, I never could have completed that song without Robby. I tried to, do it on my own. There was no way. So I came with some of the lyrics and maybe some chords.
Yeah.
But so I came over and we hung out together here in Minnesota, and Robby made, absolutely 50% contribution to this song, and then of course mixed it and did
Wow.
all of the thing which I don't do or know how to do. I know it sounds good. I have worked on some projects that I've co-produced, but Robby certainly produced this. So talk about that, how you'll remember things that I don't remember about.
I just remember you coming over and sitting in the living room and kind of bouncing ideas back and forth. And, I really wanted to serve his interest in it.
Yeah.
And get everything that he wanted to do, more as a helper,
Yeah.
And but when it came down to it, what I realized is that it was a unique story, a unique piece of material, and it really needed to just stand on its own and be a piece of art, be an original piece of art. It needed to sound like itself. I didn't want to copy anything. I didn't necessarily need to musically pay tribute. It needed to be its own standing, just like the book and the video. It needed to be its own unique thing that when you hear it, you recognize it as being itself. And I wanted to be totally original. And so there was a little bit of he went home and we kind of shared ideas back and forth, and I ended up just kind of laying the whole thing down, with the idea that it was going to be more of a demo. And then when it's all done, it's like, well, no, I think this is the direction. I think this is great. Let's just finish it up. So we gave it another look and fixed some things, and it became a record.
And he pushed me on my performance. I do play rhythm guitar and some of the little hooks
the Spanish guitar line,
Oh.
And I think we went through maybe 5 or 6 different ideas around that, and he came up with this great Spanish signature line that I love in the song.
Thank you.
And that's Jimmy's creativity there is playing.
Well, and that meant a lot to me for him to push me and recognize something nifty that I might come up with, because Robby is an unbelievable guitarist and musician and all of its aspects. But you are a guitarist that I respect very highly. His abilities on guitar are eons beyond what I can do with the guitar. But it was great to get sort of as the producer, his input to help me on my end of things.
Yeah, I just have to say, congratulations to both of you, because, I love it that it's based on a true story, and, that gives a song a personal touch and makes it even more engaging,
And I love the collaboration.
Yeah.
Just the friendship, the conversation, the camaraderie, the respect. I just love the collaboration. It was really enjoyable. And so.
Yeah, I'm in where I grew up. Yes, I'm in Minnesota, and with family and friends.
Yeah.
And I'll be back in SoCal in the not too distant future, and moving forward.
So we're the opposite. He grew up here, lives in California. I grew up in California, and I live here.
What? How did that happen?
Yeah, I'm from West LA.
Wow.
Originally. That's right.
What took you back there, Robby?
Well, what kept me here is I got married to a Minnesota.
A woman to do that.
And but my parents always had a home in the Midwest, so I spent summers here, and I have a strong connection. Both my parents are from the Midwest here, so strong family connection here.
Very cool. So, Robby, well, this I understand that this single will be on an album of yours, or right?
We're talking about that.
Okay.
I like to do more songs with Jimmy and put together. I'm a vinyl record collector, so I've got jukeboxes all over this place, and I'm into all the retro stuff. So for me, I'd like to see it through into a bigger project and do more work. It's been fun. It's been easy. It's been easy and enjoyable. And but I think at the end, to have a collection of songs and do a vinyl record would be amazing.
So since you're back there, Jimmy, are you guys going to perform this song anywhere on stage? You're going to show up at a bar somewhere? What's going on?
So I'm on tour right now, and I've been playing it in my show.
Nice.
So it's the audiences are slowly introducing it in my show.
Yeah, got it.
And, so I'll do a little Johnny Cash piece, rockabilly piece, and then I'll play the song, kind of set it up,
Oh,
and
nice.
people are enjoying it. So it's been fun. And in my show, it's a little bit different than my other material, so it kind of once again pulls me in another direction, and I like that. So I like the being diverse musically. So yeah.
Well, when you get the album out and stuff, let the Hollywood Times know. We can interview you. I love to interview artists, songwriters about their albums because I really love to talk about the individuality of the songs that you put on an album. So we'll have to do that. And so maybe you can come out here to uh in where Jimmy lives and we can have a little meet and greet then,
Absolutely. That'd
I'd
be
love
wonderful.
that.
That'd be wonderful.
So what's your plans, Jimmy, now that you're back home for a little bit? Just visit family and friends or gonna take some photographs? What are you gonna do?
Well, yes, all those things. So just this last Saturday, just a few days ago, I photographed a pretty cool concert at the Caboose. That's a popular old bar and a nightclub here in Minneapolis. In the old days, I photographed at this particular venue. I photographed Bo Diddley there. I
Oh,
photographed Canned Heat there. But this last weekend, I photographed my old friends, a Minneapolis band, Obsession, and they changed their name to Funhouse when I knew
oh,
them. So it felt like a reunion. And also on that bill was wonderful guitar player, singer, songwriter Robert Wilkinson, the singer
Flaming O's.
from the Flamin' O's,
Great
wow.
band.
very popular
Both are great bands.
band out of here, and some other artists. So that was like old home week. So yes, I'm still doing rock and roll photography. The other thing is I'm going to do some fishing. I love freshwater fishing. That's how I grew up, and we're the land of 10,000 lakes. So I'm going to get in as much fishing as I can. Robby told me somewhere I can go fishing right near here today, and there's so many other places. And I'm seeing old friends generally and spending a lot of time with family.
Very cool. So, Robbie, can we get your social media from you?
Yes. So I'm my website is robbyvee.com, ROBBYVEE.com. And on all the other platforms, it's Robby Vee on tour with Instagram or Facebook or whatever it all it is.
Hey, what about yours?
Well, of course, fans, if we can call them that, friends, fans, you can reach me at jimmysteinfeldt.com.
Easy
I
enough.
might mention one other thing. In September, I'm going to be back here in Minnesota for a weekend, the weekend of the 18th of September, and I'm going to be teaching rock and roll photography. And I'm going to be giving a tour of downtown Minneapolis, the famous clubs that I photographed bands at, and where I did photo sessions with bands. And I'm going to be lecturing on photography. And for that, you just need to go to the Mode Festival. I believe it's the modefestival.com, MODE. And if you want to find out about attending that.
Wow, maybe the Hollywood Times will have to come and follow you, cover it. Wouldn't that be cool? That might be
Always
fun.
they're always rolling.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell them about your upcoming shows. I mean, this man is
That was the next question. What's Robbie up to?
amazing shows all over his band. I photographed your band.
You did a record release party for me.
Yeah, I did. That's right. And just amazing, whether he's playing solo or with his band, he's amazing. So please share what might be coming up.
I'm one of those guys that very seldomly move past today in my mind. But if you go to Robby Vee, you go to robbyvee.com, I think it's on tour, robbyvee.com tour or whatever.
Right.
I have an entire schedule there, and we're working up till the first of the year. So there's a lot of shows in there, festivals and all that stuff.
Nice. Do you come out west at all, Robbie?
I do. I used to play a couple of the casinos out there, the Pala Casino in
Oh.
San Diego.
Yeah.
I've done the Apollo. Is it the Apollo Theater across from Capitol Records in Hollywood? I played there. Yeah, I've done, over the years. I've been around long enough to play a little bit of everything. I'm Disneyland. Played Disneyland for a while.
Wow, that cool. Well, let us
A little
know
bit.
how did the two of you meet? When did that start? Like, how did you meet for the first time?
I've known Jimmy for years through friends. We kind of have a similar friend group,
Oh,
and one of my best buddies, the lead singer of the Suburbs, the band out of Minneapolis, Beej Chaney. Uh, we are kind of a good friend to both of us, and Beej passed away about a year ago or so.
Yes.
But we started this project, kind of got reacquainted around our friend who had passed away about a year ago, and we decided to be musical together.
we want to thank you both for joining us here at the Hollywood Times, and we will continue to promote both of you and Johnny Rode Shotgun, because Johnny Cash was one of my all-time favorite country music bands. Yes, there's something. His last album that he did before he passed was just unbelievable. I think that's what really got it more on the map too. So this is gonna wake everybody up with Johnny Cash again with Johnny Rode Shotgun. So
And June Carter. And June Carter.
well, yes,
That's right.
Carter. Yeah, that's true. The woman who made the man. And the Carter family, all the history. I mean, the Grand Ole Opry just, all that turned up for 100 years. They've been celebrating their 100th anniversary all since last year. So this is pretty amazing. This would be a great story to, go see the Grand Ole Opry and let them know about this as well. So this interview is going to go up on the Hollywood Times official YouTube channel, and we thank both of you for joining us today. And Robby, you keep in touch with when that new album comes up, and Jimmy, it's always a pleasure, and you need to write more for us. We love his interviews that he does. He's the best. Jimmy's the best.
Back at ya.
Yeah. Any last words you guys have for us here out in?
Check it out. Yeah, check it. I think YouTube has the video, if I'm correct.
Okay.
And any platform you can download Robby Vee, Jimmy Steinfeldt, January Check, and it's Spotify, whatever your preference is. But check it out. It's fun. It's a fun one.
Yes, it is. How about you, Jimmy? Last words.
Rock on, my friends. Rock on.
There you go. See, that's the best. Well, thank you both again, and we'll be chatting with you soon, we hope.
Thank you so much, Judy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.